Welcome to our spoiler review of Spontaneous by Aaron Starmer. So we first picked up this book at BIA and we were super interested in it because like the premise.
Confession, I almost didn't bring it back with me.
Really?
Yeah, it was on my kind of maybe book list, and then I realized that I still had room in my suitcase, so it got taken home.
Aren't you glad you did?
I am glad I did. I really liked this one. And I was on Goodreads and a lot of people were like, this was the most random thing that I picked up at BIA, but I really liked it. It's good.
It's one of those books, again, like something like Ghost Talkers, where you're like, okay, this is an interesting premise, but it's either going to be really campy or it's going to be good. So I hope people actually like see it and pick it up because spontaneously combusting seniors, guys!
This book follows Mara. She's sitting in her math class one day and then one of the kids in her math class just explodes. Pops and they're gone and it's just gore everywhere.
And naturally people are like, holy shit, was it terrorists? And they quickly figure out it was not terrorists, there were no explosives anywhere.
And it keeps happening.
Yeah. So Mara and her whole like math class are in their therapy group for, you know, dealing with the trauma of watching their one classmate explode when another one explodes. And it soon becomes clear it's actually like some kind of weird epidemic that is only infecting the seniors of Covington High. And you never figure out why.
Yeah, and I liked it and I didn't.
Because
I'm just like, give me my payoff. And at the same time, I'm like, okay, no, I like that you left it so open-ended.
Is there really going to be...
It doesn't matter. Like, if everyone's gonna, like, blow up eventually, it doesn't matter why.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that any explanation he kind of gave you would be, like, kind of like, oh, that was it? That doesn't make any sense. Like, it's not really realistic. So by having it be open-ended, it gives the story more weight.
And it forces you to focus on the other things, like the characters and their relationships and how the disease or the epidemic or like whatever it is affecting them, not the thing itself, which I really thought was clever.
Yeah. And I love all their ideas for why it's possibly happening. Like, you know, they're like, is it the government? Is it like a bad vaccination? Is it biology? And they go through all these different ideas and everybody, it's kind of funny at the end because everybody's like, it was totally me, guys. I was totally exploding everyone with my mind because, I don't know, your grades were better than mine and
I messed around with black magic.
And yeah, so everybody kind of like has this like guilt with them that they're all carrying around and it's like kind of like the big revelation at the end. It's really cute.
I liked the main character's relationships with everyone. Like, I liked her relationship with her best friend. I liked her relationship with her parents. I was totally and completely fascinated with her relationship with her boyfriend. Just because it felt very real in the fact that it's like first time.
Also, it kind of felt like he was in love with somebody else too at the same time. Because like he's in this like totally weird situation where he was fake dating his brother's girlfriend for reasons and then she gets pregnant with triplets. Which sounds that's kind of the part that breaks my brain the most is just the triplets. But you know, so he's kind of still in love with this girl, Jane, I think her name was, and...
But he's clearly also in love with the main character, but...
He's still like carrying the torch.
He's more into this relationship than she's into it, which I really liked, because that felt really normal, because you could kind of compare it like he's already been in a serious relationship and so he kind of knows more what he wants, when the main character on the other hand has just kind of done a few random flings, and so he's like gravitating towards like the stability of the relationship and she's like going for an experience and she got the experience she wanted and now she's kind of still there.
She's like, oh, is this still happening?
Like I care about him, I like spending time with him, but...
Then her feelings are also compounded with the fact that they're gonna die soon, probably. Like, they're gonna explode, and he does. And, you know, it kind of sets her in, like, this tailspin, like, because she was on this, like, positive kick, and she had got, like, her whole class to kind of come together and go back to class because classes get canceled. And, you know, so she's got them, like, working towards, like, a future. And then after he dies, everything kind of just falls apart again.
I love the school segment. Like,
yeah,
the upswing, it was my favorite part of the book because they take back the school. The school was trashed one night.
By a riot.
By a riot. So they take back the school and they jerry-rig it together and they, like, get some teachers. And so they have 4 classes and they're, like, classes that, you know, you actually learn things at, not just kind of like the curriculum that...
Yeah, it's like real life lessons by this one teacher who was in the army and is dealing with PTSD, and then one by this like yoga guy.
And filmmaking class, and so they get to like talk about philosophy and have arguments and learn about stuff, and then they get to make movies, and so they like start a YouTube channel and upload like a movie a week of like how they survived the week, and then they do yoga, which, you know, is calming, and then they have like an Old Testament like
Bible teacher.
Yeah.
Who's like lets them drink alcohol in class. So that was really fun. And then so Mara has her breakdown and everything just kind of falls apart, and then so, you know, people are just like screwing in the corners of the school and drinking in class, and, you know, they've set up a pool in like the old, like they put sand in the old pool, and, you know, it's just really freaking interesting.
I liked the media aspect as well, based off of the YouTube channel, because they start getting all these like wacky sponsors coming in, like their auditorium gets fixed up by Tinder.
Yeah. And then, you know, of course it kind of like becomes a bit of a reality show because like Jade is like totally media worthy with her like triplet boys, so she can't beat her because she might explode. And meanwhile, then you have the kids who really just want to like focus on their future, like Tess, who, you know, takes her PSATs and, you know, is just focused on maybe finding a cure for whatever is going on, right?
And just there's a lot of stuff happening in the background, like they think the government might have tagged all of them to track them so they can't leave the town, so that they'll stay corralled. And so like Tess is in the background like doing stuff, and she's drinking out of this Nalgene with this really kind of gross, murky water, and so Mara's just like, oh man, like, she swore off drinking. What's she drinking? Like, if she's, like, tail spinning, then oh my god. Like,
the world is dead. And it turns out she's drinking some kind of, like, radiation water that killed trackers on some kind of thing, right? And it's so interesting. And I love how useless the government was. Like, absolutely fucking useless.
I kind of both liked and didn't like the agent storyline. I liked the character, and I liked how she was set up as kind of like almost this hero figure for Mara, but I didn't like that they told you near the beginning that not to trust her. Like, I'm like, it made her entire hero
arc suspicious.
Yeah, so I was like, no, she's gonna do something, she's gonna do something. So when she finally does something, it's just like, okay, so you're a bit of a conspiracy theory nut.
Yeah.
Who, like, is, like, pining for the, like, the youth she never had because she was always so focused on careers.
I mean, then again, her, like, arc wasn't that bad too. You're just like, oh, she kind of fucked up and she's not actually an FBI agent halfway through the series. You're like, whatever. In the scheme of things, this isn't really important. But yeah, so the government does nothing. They, like, decide that they're gonna quarantine the teens, and they're like, we found nothing wrong, so we're just gonna, like, keep you boxed in the town, and we're gonna pretend you don't exist now. So have a nice life.
I liked the breakdown crazy explosion section.
Yeah.
Just like when everything just goes downhill, where like 5 people explode in like the course of like
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah, and then that's when everything goes to shit and everybody's just like, I don't care anymore. Like, throw my hands in the air, like, let's go screw in the corner, guys.
Dylan, he kind of reminded me of like a guy I like dated in high school, where he's just like, yeah, you know, you gotta be there to tell their story. You know, like the kind of like the offbeat, like artsy, like hipstery guy who sits in the corner with his like guitar, and he's so cool.
But then when he finally does see someone explode, he's like, oh, I didn't think it would be like that. And you're like, well, fuck. I super enjoyed it, like black humor. Serious but not too serious. I kind of felt like when you hit the end, you're like, okay, so what is this book actually trying to say? And it's not like super clear.
What I kind of got from it is the whole like, okay, you could die at any point anyway.
That's what I kind of took out of it, but I had to like think about it.
Make use of your time. I mean, you're probably maybe not going to spontaneously combust.
Like, hey, you can die at any time, so you know you have to learn how to deal with that.
I love the random shot at the blogger culture. Yeah. Just like the blogger culture. And I'm just like, oh my god, that's great.
Yeah, because the bloggers are all like harassing them outside their thing.
Hey buddy, why don't you tell me about how your day was? Hey! I'm just like, oh my god. I liked the ambiguous ending about Tess.
Yeah, me too.
Because they have a prom, and Mara leaves the prom and she's sitting on the hill and she's drinking, and Tess joins her, and they kind of like sit together. And Mara falls asleep
on Tess's lap.
and she wakes up and Tess isn't there, and it's raining.
And so it's like she could have exploded and Mara would never know. Oh, or she, she could have finally made her big escape. And so, Mara's just like, she doesn't know. She has this cell phone that she may be able to contact Tess with, but...
Because Tess keeps being like, keep the burner phone, keep the burner phone. It's a reoccurring thing, keep the phone.
Yeah. Like, it's not for the FBI agent, it's for us. And so, yeah, it was a very ambiguous ending, but also kind of hopeful at the same time.
I really liked that it was a friendship, and they had their ups and downs, but it didn't turn into the "you've, like, betrayed me" thing. Like, it was, like, a solid...
Mara goes into a tailspin, and Tess is like, I get it. Like, this is just how you have to deal with it. Do your thing. We're still good friends. Don't worry about it. Good job, Aaron Starmer. We both really enjoyed this book. And we both really think that people should pick this one up.
Definitely.
Pick this one up, and we will see you next time, guys.